Hey guys, and welcome to episode 18 of our weekly Super Smash Bros. Ultimate News Roundup, which means there's only 8 weeks left until the game is out. As usual, we're joined by Ash and John to go over all the updates from the Super Smash Bros. Blog and elsewhere from the past week. So let's get right to it. And we begin the week with day 1 on Sunday with the character overview for the Wii Fit Trainer. And the description says, she is a fighter that attacks with healthy moves like stretching and yoga poses. You can pick between male and female versions, and charging up the sun salutation all the way recovers a bit of health. And yeah, the Wii Fit Trainer is back, which is sort of that what the heck moment from Smash Wii U. And I never really played with her a lot, her style never really clicked with me, but how did you guys feel about the Wii Fit Trainer?
I loved that she was in the game, but like you, I never really played with her that much. But I did have a friend who did, and he actually got really good with her. But yeah, she's a character that never really clicked with me personally, but it's just so crazy to have her in the game though, because she isn't really a character of sorts. She's just kind of a fitness trainer from a fitness game, so it's hilarious that she made it into Smash in the first place. Based on her new look in Ultimate, I kind of do want to play as her a bit more. Because, like, holy crap, I mean, look at this upgrade. We're looking at this comparison shot right now, and it's literally like they've just pressed the HD button, and it looks so good. Like, every single aspect of her looks so much better than it did in Wii U. Like, the hair, the face, the body, the arms, everything is just so much better.
You can really see the muscle definition now, like the muscle tone, like she really looks a lot better across the board.
Yeah, especially because her skin tone in Wii U is more yellowish, it looks like, at least like with this comparison that we're looking at. Man, it looks better, the face has more detail. I don't know, there's something about it just really appealing, and maybe I don't use her that often, but she was still just a fun, weird addition. And what's actually interesting here is that according to Sakurai, the fact that she does have a clearer face and more detailed eyes, which is a more close approximation to her design in Wii Fit U, was actually requested by the Wii Fit development team. They wanted we wanted her to look better, and so he went ahead and did that.
Right, which I think that was a good request, because I mean I thought Wii Fit Trainer looked fine in Smash 4. I didn't know what I was missing, and then now that we see this improved model here, she just looks so much better. And I'm kind of like you, John. I never got good with Wii Fit Trainer, but this is a character that I just love that she's in the game. I just love just the idea of having Wii Fit Trainer in Smash. I love it. I loved her reveal trailer, everything about this character. I just hope she's better in Smash Ultimate, because as much as I enjoy using her, I just feel like she needs to be a little better. I feel like she needs better frame data, maybe a little more priority. She just needs to be a little better, but if she could get that little step she needs, I think she could be really viable. And I just love just everything about this character. I mean, her volleyball attack is a spike. Like, if you hit it right, it's a spike, which is perfect. And it's so fun trolling people with this character, and I really hope she's made a little better in Smash Ultimate.
And she kind of represents the Wii era of Nintendo. I kind of understate how important she is, because she really is one of the biggest characters in this game, technically. Wii Fit and Wii Fit U and Wii Fit Plus all sold like tons and tons of units. So, like, seeing her alongside characters like Shulk and all these other characters, she's technically bigger than most of them.
That is the weird thing.
I guess like Duck Hunt represents the NES, and then Wii Fit Trainer kind of represents the Wii.
Yeah, I can actually see that line of thought. It makes sense. And I just remember, I have strong memories of when she was first announced in Smash Wii U, and we were doing the analysis and taking a look at this character and like, oh god, I have to go through and actually figure out all these stupid yoga poses, because I don't do yoga at all, and I don't know these forms at all, so it's like, okay, let's go through and see what the heck each one of these poses is, because, and that's the fun thing about her, just on the surface, it's just like how they took that exercise mechanic and turned it into a viable moveset. Well, mostly viable, and she wasn't the best, but they got projectiles in there, you got these close range moves, you have this stupid fun final smash. I strangely appreciate Wii Fit Trainer as a character, and even though, I mean, I know immediately people are going to be on me about, well, didn't you argue against her and say she was a terrible character in relation to Bandana D? And I'm like, that's mostly for the video. It's like, of course,
yeah,
I appreciate any character that can get in here. I think there's always a good reason to have them in, and as John said, she sold incredibly well. That's just for a fun video.
Yeah, plus there's just nothing quite like having like the chaos of a Smash match going, and then Wii Fit Trainer pulls off a Smash attack attack and just, you're wobbling, or watch your posture, or, things like that. It's just when that comes out in the middle of the chaos of a Smash match, you can't help but laugh because it's so absurd. And that's what I love about this character. She's absolutely absurd, but somehow Sakurai made her work, and I love it.
That's just kind of Sakurai's MO.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to day 2 being Monday, where we got another character overview, this time for Dr. Mario. The description says, he has more attack and launch power than Mario, but his jump and recovery are not as good. Pro tip, you can repeatedly press the B button when using his down special, Dr. Tornado, to float a bit. And yeah, I think I've never really used Dr. Mario all that much. Like, he was sort of like this fun idea, but it's like, whatever, I don't need to really play him, I'll just stick with normal Mario. Did either of you two prefer Dr. Mario to Mario?
For a little while I did, but I feel like I'm better with Mario, but I enjoy using Dr. Mario more. That's what's weird, is I definitely do better with Mario. He has better combo potential, in my opinion. He's a little faster. Just, he's more, I'm just better with him, but I enjoy playing as Dr. Mario more, and I think the main reason for that is his Mega Vitamins. I love the fact that you got the classic sound effects associated with them, and they're just fun to use. Like, I make life a living hell for some people when I just start spamming Mega Vitamins, because I'll do some on the ground, and then I'll jump and do some in the air, and so that'll change their bounce trajectory, and it becomes really difficult to avoid them if you get a good rhythm going, and they're just so fun to use. So I just like the idea of using Dr. Mario more, but I have to admit that I'm better with just plain old vanilla Mario.
And I kind of just prefer plain old vanilla Mario just overall. In Melee, I guess they were very, very similar characters, and I like that they made them a bit more diverse in Smash 4 by giving him Mario's Melee down B back. But yeah, I just never really felt Dr. Mario. Like, it's cool that he's there, and I like how they've mixed him up enough to still feel kind of fresh. But I feel more impact with the general vanilla Mario. Like, I prefer his sound effects, I prefer the impact you get from him. Whereas Dr. Mario never really gave that for me, but I do appreciate some of the upgrades he's got here. Like, I love how reflective all of his materials are. Like, pretty much everything on him, apart from his lab coat, has this metallic, reflective surface, which was kind of missing in Smash 4. So it's great to see the reflections in Ultimate looking a lot better. And he's definitely a character that benefits from that.
You can kind of also see the woven pattern on his lab coat. Like, he really does look quite a bit better, at least his clothes do.
Yeah, and you're right, John. And the nice thing about Dr. Mario, especially with Smash Wii U, is that it did give Mario back his tornado attack, which a lot of people enjoyed and used that a lot in Melee for his recovery. To have that as a throwback actually makes a lot of sense, and also explains why he's definitely not an Echo. Like, he's kind of an Echo. He's close to being an Echo, but he's really not. He is much more in the clone category, where he's just similar enough, but kept different. And I do wish that his final Smash had been changed. I would have loved to see the viruses have some sort of role in him. And I can, like, rather than the pills, like, send out a twirling, like, virus attack with all three of them in there, because I love the design of the viruses, and to have them shown in some way would be a lot of fun.
I kind of thought it would always be cool if his final smash was just giant Mega Vitamins falling from the top of the screen that you can control, and you just try to, flatten your enemies with the Mega Vitamins like you're playing Dr. Mario. You wouldn't have to chain actual colors together or anything, but just, left, right, and hit down to try to, smash your enemies. But I just thought that would be kind of cool. One thing I do want to comment on, and one thing I like that they've done to differentiate Dr. Mario further from regular Mario, is that his Super Sheet, his side special, now has an updated animation, and he now swings the sheet upward instead of sideways, which gives it a better vertical reach, and that's completely different from regular Mario.
Yeah, I like how they're doing more to differentiate them.
With Melee, what I didn't like was how Mario, Dr. Mario, and Luigi were all quite similar characters. And I guess now that Dr. Luigi is a character, because he has his own game, do you think there's a possibility that we could get a Dr. Luigi Echo for Luigi, or for Dr. Mario?
I really hope not.
Yeah, it would be weird, too, to have Dr. Luigi be an Echo, but Dr. Mario not be an Echo.
Unless Dr. Luigi is an echo of Dr. Mario.
Exactly.
That's true, which I feel like either outcome would piss Luigi fans off, though.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like, Dr. Luigi was only around for one game, and granted, I can immediately tell you what the big difference would be between the two of them, and it's the pills. Because Dr. Luigi's pills were always in an L shape, so have him throw like that be even wackier to go across and try to dodge, and there you go, you have your Dr. Luigi. but I don't want him as a character. He appeared in one game.
Yeah.
It just really wasn't much. I didn't even like the Dr. Luigi mode. I preferred regular Dr. Mario.
Yeah, same here.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to day 3, being Tuesday, where we got our new music for this week being Id Purpose from Fire Emblem Awakening. And Ash, well, you're our music guy. Take it away.
Alright, so this was rearranged by Takeshi Kuramochi, and by the way, this is not an entirely new song. We heard this way back at E3 as part of Robin's character trailer, but this is the first time we're hearing more of it. But Takeshi Kuramochi is a former Konami composer who left the company in 2015, but while he was there, he composed music for various pachinko and patch-a-slot machines, the most notable among them being the patch-a-slot Akumajo Dracula series and the Magical Halloween series, and for those of you who are not aware, Akumajo Dracula is Castlevania, so he has worked on Castlevania, patch-a-slot, and pachinko games, and this is his first ever contribution to Smash.
Are you telling me this is the guy who did the music for what is it, the sexy violence or erotic violence or whatever?
Oh no.
It might be. I think that might be the same thing.
Wow, what a connection.
Right?
It's kind of funny they put him on Fire Emblem rather than a Castlevania remix. Although, who knows, he might have done another remix where for Castlevania these composers do multiple tracks. But for Id Purpose, it's really hard to tell the differences here. Like if you don't listen to the songs back to back, I actually have a bit of trouble telling difference between rearranged and the traditional. But there is a difference. It feels a bit more peppier with this Smash Ultimate rearrangement. But do you guys have that same trouble?
Listening to it, I was actually wondering if it actually was a remix, because I couldn't really tell much of a difference just from muscle memory alone. It's a good song, it's a good track, but I just couldn't really distinguish the two that well.
I'm glad to hear you both say this, because this is one of the few songs I misidentified in my first Smash music identification video, because I originally thought it was just the regular Id Purpose, and then I was corrected by various Fire Emblem fans who were like, no, this is actually a remix, and now I can hear it, now I'm going back and listening to it, but I also didn't play a lot of Fire Emblem Awakening, so I wasn't primed to know that either, so it makes me feel better to know that those of you who have played it, being the two of you, still couldn't tell.
It's been a while, and like I said, if I hear them back to back, can totally hear it, but
yeah,
not when I just haven't listened to one in a while. And that said, this is a good rearrangement. It's peppy, it fits Smash, it's nice and bombastic, it works. But it's also not as exciting as some of the other remixes we've gotten in the past because it is just so similar.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting remix out there just because, like you said, it's very similar to its song of origin. But, when you do listen to them side by side, this one sounds really nice. It's differentiated enough when you hear them side by side, but if you haven't heard the original song in a while, you're going to be like, well, what's different?
And I kind of like how jarring a lot of the rearrangements are. And when they get a new artist to, do a rearrangement, you kind of expect something different to the original. Whereas this is more kind of the same. It's just more of the same. So I would have liked if they sort of had his own take on this track, rather than, just going in and basically just redoing it.
That's the wish. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not bad at all. This is a great song. It's just, sometimes when you hear rearrangements, you want to hear a little bit more of a difference than usual. And then sometimes it works when they're a little bit closer and they just change one thing, but I just can't pick out that change that much. Or that easily.
It kind of makes it ironic that this is one of the songs who has both of it, its original version and a remix in Smash, because this is one of the ones that isn't differentiated that much. So it's kind of strange that of all the original songs that would be in Smash, this is one of them.
Yeah. Oh well. But we also got a stage overview on Tuesday, this time being for the boxing ring, and the description says, you can jump really high using the ringside rope, and when you attack the lights on the ceiling, well, you'll have to wait and see. By the way, holding the L button when selecting this stage will turn this into the punch-out version of the boxing ring. Did we know this before? I might have missed this or forgotten.
I don't think we did. I remember watching the trailers for Smash Ultimate and not really liking the look of this stage. Because it's like they kind of took the personality of Punch-Out out of it by putting all this Smash branding over it. So I'm delighted to learn that you can actually change what it looks like now.
I thought you could do that in Smash Wii U as well. I could be wrong about that.
Probably, I just forgot to.
I'm learning something new there then, so I had no idea at all.
I could be wrong about that, but I thought you could. But yeah, I think this is our first confirmation that if you could do that in Smash Wii U, that this feature is returning in Ultimate. But either way, this is the first I think we've heard of this in Ultimate.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if the feature was in Wii U as well.
Yeah, me neither. And speaking of this stage, it's funny. This stage is so popular, and all my friends love playing Boxing Ring. I don't. I don't enjoy this stage. I don't know what it is. I like Punch-Out. I have no problem with Punch-Out or Little Mac. Well, I don't like fighting Little Mac, but I mean, I like Punch-Out, but there's just something about this stage where I don't really enjoy it, and I feel like I often lose on this stage. I don't know why that would be, but I feel like I often lose on it. So, I don't know. It's just, this stage doesn't really do it for me.
I don't think I like it being a walk-off stage. It feels like a very central... all the focus is in the ring, but then there's these two parts on the side where you literally can just walk off, and I think that kind of goes against it a little bit. Like, I would have much preferred there to be like maybe just like a bottomless pit below the ring or something like that. Because I do like the bouncy springs on the side. But yeah, I don't like the two walkways on either side of the ring.
It's one of those walkways where like you get tossed off and like, oh no, am I out? Am I off screen? Like, am I in trouble? I can't tell. And just trying to desperately get back, but you can't see yourself. If your opponent knows how to guard, well, you're going to be in pretty much trouble. But I do think the fact that we do have that little indicator about where the smash lines are whenever you do go off screen will help this stage significantly in that respect. Otherwise, I've never really had a problem with Boxing Ring. It's also never really excited me that much. Honestly, my favorite part has always been the descriptions in the back.
Yeah, and speaking of, I know there's someone in the comments is going to make fun of the fact that I'm referencing Mega Man when I don't really need to, but they changed his title to the Blue Bomber in every version of the game now, and I'm so happy. No more Blue Metal Hero nonsense. Who thought that was a good idea? That was terrible.
Yeah. Doesn't the Pokemon trainer have, like, best there ever was, or wants to be the best, or something like that? I forget the exact phrasing, but...
I think it's wants to be the very best.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah.
Great like references that you could pop in there about these little blurbs on these characters, and it's so good. I love that aspect of this stage, and getting up on the stadium lights and knocking them down and causing chaos that way. There's definitely fun to be had, but I think my biggest problem is the stage feels too segmented. You got the left side, you got the right side, and they're both blocked by the ring, and then you have the center of the ring, which you don't really want to hang out in too much because of the stage lights. So
right.
There's not really a good place to just hang out and fight.
And I do agree with you, though, Derek. I think part of the reason I don't like this stage is I'm not a big fan of it being a walk-off. And I don't have a problem with walk-off stages, but I do think that the ring should be the focal point because, you're in the ring. So if you get knocked out of the ring, that should be a KO, in my opinion. So I feel like if it was just the boxing ring that was the central focal point of the stage, I think I would enjoy it more. But yeah, the two walkways on the side I feel like they take away from the stage more than they add to it.
Visually speaking, I think people are quite torn on this stage, because in Ultimate, obviously most stages have different lighting, whereas in Smash 4, it's quite static. And in Boxing Ring, you kind of have this sort of low light, like very artificial light, because obviously it's not outside. And it makes a lot of the characters look a bit darker, especially Donkey Kong, who you can really see his kind of messy fur textures on this stage. And I do kind of like it. I think some characters look really good under this lighting, but others not so much. But I do appreciate how every stage goes for a different kind of approach to how it's lit, and it's a big step up from Smash 4. But yeah, it's not always kind to all characters this stage.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I like that it's here. Punch-Out needs the representation. It deserves to have a stage, but it's just personally not my favorite stage to play on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it also makes sense to have Little Mac not have to worry about having to recover in his own stage. So,
good point.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to day 4, being Wednesday, where we got a assist trophy. This time for Zero, of course, who we already knew about. But according to the description, it says he appears from the Mega Man series. Just like in his original appearance, he uses his learned moves to wreak havoc on the stage.
Now, I take umbrage with that description, because he doesn't appear from the Mega Man series. He appears from the Mega Man X series, Nintendo. Come on.
I had a feeling you were going to have problem with that one.
I had to. I'm like, come on, be specific here.
Yeah.
But it's great to see him here. I mean, it's Zero. He's a fan favorite character. I mean, yes, I've gone on about how much I love X, but I like Zero a lot too, and I'm really happy to see him here as an assist trophy. Thankfully, a little happy he's not playable. I would not have wanted to see him playable, but I am really happy to see him as an assist trophy, and yeah, like, it's so cool seeing him use, like, his same dash animation from the Mega Man X games, as well as some of his various learned moves. And yeah, I'm just happy to see him here. I'm happy fans get to have him in the game in some form.
He looks great, and he actually kind of reminds me of Alucard as an assist trophy. It's just, these two stand out as two characters, like, you get their assistance, like, Ah, crap, I'm really going to have to work to avoid these two because I can just see them both being super, super aggressive.
I'm kind of getting that vibe with a lot of the new assist trophies, like with Knuckles as well.
Yeah.
They feel really fleshed out, like almost like they're playable characters, apart from they're not playable. So it looks like Zero has a lot of moves at his disposal, and he kind of moves around as if he were a character. So that's really cool to see. And obviously, as Ash is saying, he's from the X series, and with that we also get X music, and it's really cool. When they revealed him, it just pumped in, and it sounds so good. So it's great to have more representation of Mega Man, and specifically Mega Man X.
Yeah, and I believe during the August Smash Direct, I think they were talking about, or it was somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, but they were talking about how Mega Man and Castlevania were particularly popular this time around in terms of the composers. So I feel like, not only are we getting that Central Highway remix that played when we got Zero revealed, but I feel like we might get some more X remixes too. Maybe even like X versus Zero. That would be an awesome remix to have in Smash. Or, and it also, having Mega Man X music also opens up the possibility of having music from other Mega Man series, like Battle Network or Legends. So that's also exciting.
I think this is probably a good time to mention, actually. Somebody tweeted us the other day pointing out that in the Assist Trophy trailer, there's actually a one scene there where it was just the player and Knuckles on screen, just fighting each other. No other players, just one player and Knuckles. So it kind of seems like maybe you'll be able to just fight assist trophies on their own. I mean, that could have just been a testing scene. But seeing how fleshed out Knuckles and Zero and Alucard are, do you think we might just be able to fight Zero on his own?
That's possible. I kind of wonder if they might take an events mode style approach with Spirits mode. If Spirits mode has anything to do with like fighting assist trophies, or maybe that's its own separate mode. But Mega Man vs. Zero is its own event. That sells itself. Like that, I mean, X vs. Zero would be cooler, but Mega Man vs. Zero sells itself and could easily be a part of Spirits mode or whatever new events mode we get in Smash Ultimate. But I could totally see that being, because they're making these assist trophies more like fully fleshed out characters. I mean, yeah, you could also have Richter versus Alucard, and that sells itself too.
Yeah,
I can totally see it being an event.
Although it would be funny to just see somebody take on the guy with the bus in Animal Crossing.
Captain.
Captain. Take on Captain as one of these fights. So I'm not fully sure about that one. It would be cool to have certain ones be available to fight in some way as part of Spirits mode. If it is a sort of boss rush to have these mini bosses in between, where you just take the assist trophy and flesh them out a little bit more, or just have them already fleshed out and have an actual fight. But I like the idea of having Zero in here. He works quite well as an assist trophy, and honestly is way better as an assist trophy than Elecman. Like I like Elecman, but it just feels off to have him be the only robot master.
Zero's more prominent.
Exactly.
Like, he's way more prominent than Elecman.
Oh, way more prominent. The only thing I'm wondering is why not both? Like, there's really no reason we can't have both, so it's kind of strange that they seem to have removed Elecman, but I agree. If it has to be one or the other, it's got to be Zero every time.
So are you confident that Elecman's just not in this game? Because there's still time.
I don't know.
There are still some assist trophies that haven't been revealed yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm fully confident that he's not in the game, because I feel like he could easily be one of the unrevealed returning assist trophies, but it is strange that they seem to have specifically not shown him yet, but I also don't think that he would be an echo for Mega Man, because why... I don't see a lot of people, begging Sakurai, let me play as Elecman, I want Elecman playable in Smash. So I don't think it'd be an Echo Fighter, so I can only surmise that he's coming back and we just haven't seen him yet.
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't be too surprised if he was cut. And just like, okay, we can only have one assist trophy for this series. We're going to make it Zero rather than Elecman.
Right.
Yeah. Well, moving on to day 5, being Thursday, we got another character overview. Lots of characters this week. This time for Greninja. And the description says, a ninja-like fighter that battles with moves like the water shuriken, Greninja can use a log for clever counterattacks. And this Pokemon can even stick to walls. During its final smash, it turns into Ash-Greninja. And I was wondering about this one. Now, we haven't actually seen Greninja's final smash yet. But with how popular Ash-Greninja was, and the fact that it did make it into Sun and Moon as a special Pokemon you can have, I think, as part of playing the demo, if I remember correctly. But it makes complete sense that Ash-Greninja is here. The big question is do you guys think they've changed the Final Smash in any other way, or is it just the same Final Smash with Greninja looking like Ash-Greninja?
I kind of have a feeling it's a new Final Smash. I can't really say why. It's just kind of a gut feeling I have that if they're going to go to the trouble of turning Greninja into Ash-Greninja and making that a new aspect of his Final Smash, I kind of feel like they just go all the way and make a new Final Smash, especially because Greninja's Final Smash in Smash 4 just has them as silhouettes, and if that's the case, you wouldn't really be able to tell or get that much rise out of the fact that, hey, he turned into Ash-Greninja. So I feel like it would have to be a Final Smash where it makes it more obvious.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But what do you think Ash-Greninja would even do?
Thankfully, I've watched the X and Y series where I have seen this, and Ash-Greninja, like, these are some of the best fights Pokemon's ever had. Like, really, the Pokemon League, there's some really good fights in there, especially involving Ash-Greninja. And one of his key things that he can do is he brings out his Water Shuriken and just makes it absolutely huge and then tosses it at the enemy. And I could totally see that be the thing where he just goes to one side of the map, throws this giant Water Shuriken that people have to avoid.
So quite similar to Mario's, I guess. Just like a huge projectile.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, visually, I think his current Final Smash is a little bit more interesting, just seeing him go fast and having the moon out there and all that stuff. So, I mean, the funny thing is, even though I described like what Ash-Greninja could do, I would prefer the previous one and just doing something else with that. I don't know.
As for the character itself, this is a character, I love fast, agile characters, so I feel like I should be better with Greninja than I am, but I do alright with Greninja, and I enjoy playing the character, but there's just some kind of disconnect there that I don't quite fully love playing Greninja as much as I feel like I should, because again, I love fast characters, my favorite element is water, like, this character's made for me, but I feel like there's just something there that I can't quite get, I don't know, I can't quite reckon with, but I still enjoy playing the character.
Yeah, they absolutely made the right choice with the Gen 6 Pokemon. Like, I wouldn't have chosen anyone else. But Greninja's a bit of a weirdo. Like, using his tongue as a scarf, like he just looks kind of odd.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's very unique. And as you're saying, Ash, he's very fast and agile. And he's one of my favourites of my favourite new additions of Smash 4. But I didn't really use him all that much either. I tend to stick with Sheik for my fast, agile characters. And I kind of wanted Greninja to sort of take her role for me, but he didn't in the end. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure why that is, but I do love him as a character. He's just a great little weirdo.
Yeah.
I've played a Greninja on occasion, not a lot, but I did enjoy him whenever I did try him out. But you have to be really good at, I think, counterattacks with Greninja, because a lot of his moves involve that. And it's still a lot of fun to use. Like, if you can set up those traps and pull them off, and there's something just inherently fun about his down aerial where he just bounces off the, like, if you can chain it, you can bounce off the opponents, like, multiple times, and it so reminds me of Chun-Li, me doing that back on the Genesis, and just like, this is what I can do, I'm going to keep doing it. So yeah, I just enjoyed that aspect of Greninja, and I didn't play him a lot, but I do like that the character's here, and you're right, John, they did pick the best Pokemon for Gen 6. He just works so well in terms of Smash, and it's amazing that it's great that they chose him before, when they only really had concept of him, like, they was not finalized because they were so early in Gen 6's development. Well, it's like, well, we want to have a Gen 6 representative, but I guess this one, let's hope he's popular, and of course he ended up being the most popular one.
I want to see what Substitute looks like in Ultimate, because in Smash 4, the Substitute was like the best looking thing in the game. It looks so good.
It did.
And I want to see, like, can they even make that better? Like, is it possible? It's still one of the best looking things, like, Nintendo's ever done. It just looks like a real plushie.
Mm-hmm. No, the texturing, I wish they'd even shown that, actually, because, the texturing on the plushie in Smash 4 was really, really impressive for such a small thing.
You almost wanted to plush yourself seeing it like that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think they've definitely had a bit of an upgrade with Greninja here, looking at the two models. He's just looks a little brighter. I think the textures look a little better.
He looks more aquatic, I think. Like, he's just the sleeker skin. He definitely sells the water type. Whereas in Smash 4, I suppose it looks a bit more static as a material. So I do like that he looks kind of like a little bit scaly, while also being kind of sleek at the same time.
He also looks more reflective, like more like the bulbs on the end of his joints. He looks more metallic or reflective, like those kind of white bulbous type things. They just look like they reflect more light.
Well, that's it for the week as far as the Smash blog. Lots of characters. That was the big theme this week. But of course, we still have our Smash Time question. And as always, for just $1 a month, you guys can support us on Patreon. Be able to ask these questions yourselves, and maybe we'll pick them, as well as get access to our podcast 3 days early, as well as the VIP room in our Discord. So this week we chose Kevin Hernandez, who says, "Hey GX crew, we've seen a ton of new costumes for characters added in Ultimate, such as Mario's Builder and Wedding outfits, Link's Tunic of the Wild, Pikachu Libre, Female Pokemon Trainer, and now Crafted World Yoshi. I want to ask, what alternate costumes for characters do you want to see in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? For me, I want to see Solid Snake in his iconic sneaking suit from MGS1, Sonic in his classic skin, and Lucina in her masked Marth disguise. Alternate costumes are well acknowledged in Ultimate. I hope we see more down the line. Thanks guys, and keep up the great work." So I thought this was a fun question, just imagining other costumes that we could see and want, and I think both of those are great choices for both Snake and Lucina.
I have another one for Sonic that would be a lot less popular.
Oh yeah,
than classic Sonic.
What's that?
Is it
Boom Sonic? Yeah, just
It is
Oh
Boom.
god.
just give him a scarf.
Oh god.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking, I went to Bowser Jr., and I think it would be awesome if they used the Kid Bowser, Baby Bowser design.
Oh, that's a good
that'd be
one.
so good.
Just get that little.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I think that would look so cool. Especially you have that
Yeah.
little face off with Yoshi. That'd be fun.
Well, and speaking of Yoshi, Andre's not here, but I know he'd appreciate my saying this, but I think Boshi would be a cool alt costume for Yoshi. just get Boshi in there from Mario RPG, man. The one and only Boshi.
Of course.
You'd have to change his hitbox a lot, though.
Would they really? I mean, isn't Yoshi just or Boshi's just a Yoshi with sunglasses and he's kind of a
suppose.
jerk?
I suppose.
Yeah.
What about you, John? Which one are you thinking of?
So, what I'm thinking of is already kind of in there, but not really. So, my favourite Samus ult is her fusion one, but I don't like how her shoulder pads still kind of look the same when you use it, and I would love for them to sort of make it even more different and make it slimmer, so she really looks like she does in Metroid Fusion. But again, that would kind of maybe mess with her hitbox a bit as well, because you'd have to like take away her giant shoulder circle things. But yeah, I love her fusion design, so I'd love to just get like a bit more of a fleshed out version of that.
Another one I would love, Richter's evil design from Symphony of the Night. Like where he actually has his hair down and just has this evil look in his eyes. Like that'd be really cool to play as.
Speaking of evil, what about Evil Ryu and Violent Ken? Provided Ken's in there.
No, but Evil Ryu makes too much sense as an alt for Ryu. Like it feels like it should already be happening. But going off of what you said about Richter, Simon, I feel like they could do Castlevania Judgment Simon and have that be.
Oh,
that
God,
kind of
no,
more
I don't
modern.
want-
No one likes it. But I'm just saying
I
it would be
don't
funny
want
to
it.
see it in there.
Like if you're gonna deal with that type of Simon, go for Castlevania Chronicles Simon. At least that's a little better,
Nice.
where he has the red hair and sort of the more barbarian look. Like that kind
Right.
of works. Or honestly, do it so he looks more like have a costume so he actually looks more like Trevor in the same way as Olimar and Alf. So have Trevor
Yeah.
Belmont as a costume.
That would be cool.
I want Cloud in a dress, and I want that more than
I had
anything
that.
else.
Yeah, Lady Cloud. Let's get Lady Cloud in there.
That'd be pretty great.
I have two, kind of a 1-2 punch from the same series. I feel like Luigi could get Mr. L from Super Paper Mario, and Peach could get the Shadow Queen from Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I think both of those would work really well.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see Peach as the Shadow Queen. Daisy should obviously get one of her sports outfits. Like, yeah, I think that just works the best. Give her one of like her tennis outfit or something, and boom, there you go.
Yeah, that's a really obvious addition for both Daisy and Peach. I'd be like surprised if both of them don't have like sports gear, because they kind of have like a uniform sports gear across sports games, and it took a long time for Mario and Luigi to kind of get them too. I think Aces is the first time in a while that Mario was actually dressed up outside of his overalls. So yeah, it'd be great to see like all these characters kind of have all their sports gear. But going off what the person who asked this question said about having like a classic Sonic for Sonic, what about like a classic Donkey Kong for Donkey Kong?
Oh my gosh,
That could be interesting.
that'd be pretty wild.
Based him off like the Donkey Kong 94 box art, where he still has like the tie, but he's like more gorilla looking, like the original Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I kind of, related to that, I had Jumpman listed for Mario, which I don't know exactly what they would do to differentiate him from Mario, but I feel like there's something they could take from the original DK, Jumpman design and kind of infuse that into Smash and make that an alt costume.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of originals, what about the original Pit? Like, based off the trophy they have in Melee.
Oh god.
See, now we're getting into Green Mega Man territory. That's and nobody wants Green Mega Man. Although I did have, this is obviously not the ideal situation, but I did have Proto Man listed for Mega Man because if he's not going to be an Echo Fighter, Proto Man would work as a good costume for Mega Man. Another one I had listed that I would like to see is Galacta Knight for Meta Knight.
Ooh, that's a really good one.
One costume I was really disappointed by in Smash 4 was the lack of Miss Pac-Man. Just put a bow on him, it's so obvious.
It's true.
That is a good point.
Yeah. And you could easily, I mean, especially now, because all Pac-Man's alts are, like, they're just different kinds of gloves and shoes. It's ridiculous. So give Pac-Man 4 different kinds of gloves and shoes, and then give Miss Pac-Man the other 4. We don't need 8 different alts for different gloves for Pac-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this one's kind of an easy, kind of low-hanging fruit, but the Octoling for Inkling.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
should be the case.
The biggest argument against that is the roster was sort of finalized in, was it 2015 or 2016? So, and Octolings didn't really get their new design until this year, so...
Unless they
Right.
got some concept work, but maybe.
Right. It's not like a full character, so I think it's definitely possible.
I think so. I could probably get it in there and just sort of make it work. What do you guys think about Nintendo for NES?
That would be cool.
Yeah, my argument for Nintendo has always been he's really similar to Ness, but I can't tell much of a difference between Yoshi and Crafted Yoshi, so that's an invalid argument now. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they would do to make Nintendo look different from NES, but there is just enough of a difference there where I feel like they could do it, but I don't know how popular that would be necessarily. I have one that's kind of already in the game, and that's Masked DDD, because he puts on his mask for his final smash, but it would be cool to have, you could have the option to wear his mask the entire match.
That'd be really cool. I've thought about that one. That just seems like a really
Yeah.
good idea. I talked about Alf earlier as one of Olimar's costumes, but I think it would also be kind of cool if Olimar could look like either Louie or what was her name, Beta or
Brittany.
Brittany. Yeah,
Brittany, yeah, Brittany.
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be... I agree.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. So, one thing I wish they'd do for Young Link is give him different masks for different ults. Like, not necessarily like the Goron mask, but just generic masks from Majora's Mask. Not ones that change his actual appearance, but just like the bunny ears or something like that. There's so many to choose from, and it would really give him more of a Majora's Mask flavour, which is kind of what they're going for, like giving him fire arrows. He's definitely based off the Majora's Mask Young Link, so yeah, give him some masks.
Although it would be really funny to have him have the bunny ears and then pick up the bunny ears so he has double.
I was going to say that. Like, what would that look like? But I do love that idea. I agree. Like, have the Keaton mask. Like, he could be wearing the Keaton mask or, the Mask of Truth, things like that.
That'd be fun. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of great ideas that they could just go through for most of these characters, honestly, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's really so much, and if they could monetize the crap out of this by doing DLC costumes.
Oh, God.
And just... That would be an endless well of money for them. They could just keep doing costumes of fan-favorite versions of characters literally forever, and people would keep buying them.
Yeah, pretty much.
They really could.
Yeah.
It's kind of sick in that way because I could totally see myself eating that kind of thing up.
Oh, I'm sure I would buy every single costume pack. Like, I almost hope... I want them to do it, but I almost hope they don't, because I would probably be buying every single costume pack.
It'd be theater rhythm all over again for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing with the Mii fighters, is they do a lot of DLC for them, but I don't really care about Mii fighters. Whereas if you do costumes for all these characters, then I am so in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the question, Kevin. Hopefully you like some of our answers. I didn't say much for Snake because, well, you kind of nailed it. Like, the sneaking suit would be the best. It really would. But yeah, as always, you guys can support us on Patreon for just $1 a month. Get a chance to have these Smash Time questions, as well as get the podcast 3 days early, and access to our VIP room in our Discord. But I think that covers it for week 18 of our Super Smash Bros. Blog discussions. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And of course, make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Smash, the Nintendo Switch, and other things gaming. Until next time, bye.